everyone, welcome back. As we are going to discuss in today's video a very interesting topic, that is analysis. No, we are not going to analyze any numbers or any chart sheet or any Excel sheet, not that. But what is important for an aesthetician to analyze? That is skin. How to analyze that, what are the different ways to do it, and actually why is it so important to understand that when you analyze the skin properly, you can actually treat your client perfectly and get the best of the results. So if you are also looking out for best result and actually guaranteed results at the end, skin analysis becomes a major part of it. So come, let's begin the topic. So when we are talking about the skin analysis, being a professional, being into the beauty industry, being an esthetician, it becomes actually very important for the guys to understand and analyze the skin very well, or we need to say completely. And why is it so important to actually analyze it? It is important because you can give a better diagnosis. It is important to give out a better, or I'll say a guaranteed or a good treatment, and at the end to give out the best of the results. So when you diagnose it correctly, you treat it correctly, and the results are nowhere to go. Am I right? So when we are talking about skin analysis, please understand the first step which begins in the skin analysis is the consultation. Yes, see, consultation is something that you should never skip, or I would say never rely on any other person, because you are gaining the knowledge, you are having it, you are trying to understand it deeply, and none other person can actually understand it how nicely you can do it. Correct? So now when we are talking about the consultation, what all things are included? Now, not just when a client walks in for any treatment, example, acne treatment. So acne is not a basic surface problem, no. Acne is a very, very deeply embedded situation, problem, disease, or I should say it's a very deeply incorporated problem which has to be dealt not just on the surface, but internal changes as well is also required. Now, how you will make those internal changes? When you know about the kind of problems associated with it, or the kind of problems which can trigger the acne. Example, when you understand the acne occurs because the sebaceous gland or the oil is being produced a lot, there is clogging, and because of that the bacteria has generated and it has started basically a havoc, a chaos on that particular local area and created a painful acne reaction, which actually got infected, got the pus, and now it has converted into a very bigger structure, I'll say nodules, cyst, whatsoever. To decrease it down or to remove it off, you just cannot apply a cream and just wait it will vanish. No. To take the care of it, you need to understand what age is the client of, any medical history the client has, any skincare products they have recently introduced, any kind of stress or sleep disturbance the client is having, any sort of, I'll say, the lifestyle change the client has made, any sort of, I'll say, acidity, constipation, or thyroid or hormonal issues the client is facing. Last but not the least, any sort of, I'll say, mental, physical, emotional kind of disturbance the client is facing off. So we need to combine all those things and then we need to treat that thing. But how you will combine all those things when you have not consulted the client completely and properly? So that is the reason for the skin analysis, for getting to a diagnosis, a good consultation is a must. And in a good consultation, it is not just about the product they are using or any of the before treatment they have done. No, you need to actually discuss all the basic criteria that a client is undergoing, and you need to understand them thoroughly and deeply, and then give a diagnosis of about what is causing that problem and how we will deal accordingly, only on the surface or internal or surface or in a complete holistic approach. Fine. Now, as we move ahead, the next comes the observation. Now this observe the skin or this observation actually comes with due course of experience or with the due course of time. If you are very new in the field, or if you just want to pursue, or you actually want to get into the field and now you are very new, you are very, I'll say, new to this, and you want to observe the skin. So what are the basic things you need to understand? Number one, you need to understand basically the type of the skin. You need to understand the texture of the skin. You need to understand the color of the skin. I'll say tone as per. You need to understand how the pores function, why the pores are necessary, why it is there. You need to understand the root cause of pigmentation. You need to understand the inflammation. You need to understand acne. You need to understand a lot of things. Now this takes time, takes knowledge, takes experience. If you want something to understand it more better, so you need knowledge, you need experience, that is for sure. But to help you, to support you in this whole scenario or in the whole scene, you can use certain tools, I will say. You can use a Woods lamp, you can use a dermascope, you can use a skin analyzer. Yes, nowadays AI has come into the sync with the science and they are giving out the great machinery out there. So you can get a AI skin analyzer at your sitter, and that will actually give a not just a complete picture to you, it will not just support or help you, but it will also help the client. Yes, how that? How it is going to help the client? It is actually going to help the client psychologically. Yes, client takes it very seriously because when a machine tells you something, they actually believe it more than a human nature. That's basic psychology. So you need to understand when that readings comes, when those pictures comes in, that gives the client, oh, this is the problem, this is I have to treat. Okay, they are telling me correct, they are actually analyzing it, they're actually saying it, and then you are giving advice. So they'll take it seriously and they'll actually walk through that road which you have shown them properly and correctly. Now, as we move ahead, you need to understand, now it's the time to identify basically the skin type. The first thing you need to understand. How to do that? See, it's very easy. First thing, many a times the client itself tells you what kind of skin they have. Generally, they know about it. But if they don't, and if you want to figure it out, it's very simple. Ask the client to cleanse their face, give them a cleanser, cleanse their face, pat dry, wait for around 3 to 5 minutes, then take a tissue paper, apply it on the cheek area, on the forehead area, or on the cheek area. If it slips completely, doesn't stay, it's basically in a dry zone. If it sticks at all the points, it's in an oily zone. If it sticks only on the T-zone, it's a combination. If it slips off from everywhere, but the skin looks very reddish, or I'll say inflamed after the cleansing, it is sensitive. Correct? So there is a way to find out which type of skin is there, but with due course of time, when you see the skin, when you observe the skin, or when you analyze the skin, you actually get to know whether it is a normal skin, dry skin, oily, combination, or a sensitive skin. Correct? So first thing first, you need to understand which type of skin is there. Now next comes to understand what kind of problems, major problems the client can walk in with. One, acne. Second, pigmentation. Then sensitivity, or we call it as a skin barrier damage as well. Then we have dehydrated skin, aging skin, rosacea, or melasma. Correct? These are some very basic, or I'll say very, to be very accordingly, they are not just basic but very frequently happening kind of problems which are being there in the population. Now they can differ from like geographic to geographic area. Example, like Caucasians can have different, Asians can have certain different, Africans may have certain different other areas that can be affected. But these are some basic problems which are there all around the world. Now, as we move ahead, skin barrier, it's very, very important. Please understand it very carefully. Why I am talking about it? See, skin barrier is not just a way to protect you, but skin barrier helps in locking the hydration, helping with the treatment, taking care of the overall skin texture, tone, at the same time helping with the skincare absorption, and at the same time not letting the absorbed hydration or inner hydration goes away or like wave off. Fine. So when you have a healthy skin barrier, you have a hydrated, smooth, strong, even toned skin and a very comfortable and a shiny appearance. But when you have a damaged skin barrier, it has a redness, it has got irritation, flaking, tightness, burning and itching as well. Correct? And if you have a barrier damage, the first thing you need to do in a client is repair it and then focus on the problem. Because if this is a problem, if you have any 3 problems or 2 problems, this and a pigmentation, this you need to deal first and then pigmentation. Why? Because leaving this and if you target the pigmentation, this will get irritated more, it will damage more and it will never let the pigmentation go away. So that is the reason we need to target this first and then the next problem. Anytime. Now this is the basically we discussed about the skin types, texture, barrier. Now it's time for the tone. Now when we are talking about the tones, they are in a different manner. Can you see from 1 to 6? This is called as Fitzpatrick scale, which actually not just gives you an idea of the tone, but it actually helps you which treatment to be done here, but not to be done here, which can be done here, but not to be touched over there. Why? Because of only this one issue, that is melanin. Because in the number 6, the melanin is overly exaggerating, expressive, aggressively expressive. And if you irritate the skin any bit, it is going to create a havoc more. So that is the reason we usually have an approach. Yes, we do not do aggressive treatments here, but we can do the aggressive treatments on this area. We do or we prefer conservative approach over here, and the conservative approach may not show a lot of difference over here. That is the reason not just the skin barrier, but skin tone also helps you to analyze and decide which kind of treatment or the way of treatment I am going to choose for the client. Okay. Now, if we move ahead, the major common mistakes that happens usually. Number 1, no consultation, skipping it because you are busy, you don't have time, you just ask someone, they didn't took it properly, and now you have landed up to certain different kind of treatment which was not required for them, and they're not satisfied. That is the reason, please never skip this. Number 2, ignoring the barrier. As I just discussed, if you have any 2-3 problems, the first to target is the skin barrier. Repair the skin barrier, help the barrier, and it will help you later on in the treatments. Correct? Number 3, guessing the wrong skin type, not understanding which type of skin it is, oily, dry, what kind of, and you just gave a different kind of skin care or treatment to the client which was not necessary, and now they are having another form of problem which has generated. Now, poor documentation. Obviously, you didn't took the consultation, so you have no consultation form that is fair. You didn't take any kind of consent form. You didn't take pictures before after, and now you are running here and there because you don't have any kind of proof that you treated that client. But the client is at your doorstep and they're shouting and they're not satisfied with the result. Even you know that you have given out the great results, but you don't have any proof, it's of no use. So that is the reason. Everything is fine, but please document everything. That is a necessity. Okay. Now, see, when we are talking about a checklist, I'll say, there is not any kind of a checklist that goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, no. But yes, there are certain pointers that you always need to keep in mind and always follow, no matter what kind of a male, female problem that is walking inside, never mind. But always consult the client, always observe, always ask, look for the skin type, always look for the barrier, look for the skin tone, that is the Fitzpatrick scale, and always do the documentation properly, do the treatment, take a treatment plan, discuss it with the client, and then follow. Okay? And last but not the least, let's take a little revision of the whole video what we just discussed, and then we'll wash off. Now, consultation, definitely it is mandate thing required. observe the skin with any of the analyzer or the tools that becomes handy to you or is actually pocket friendly to you. Then analyze the skin completely, which type of skin is there, which type of tone is there, what kind of barrier is there, is it actually healthy or not. If everything is fine, then we suggest the treatment, and after suggesting, we do all the documentation from forms to consent forms to photographs, everything, and when it is treated, you actually leave a good result. And when the results are delivered beautifully, the client also gives you a positive review, positive feedback, and that grows your business. So when you are looking out for a growth, never skip the basics. Basics always become the foundation, and that leads to a very successful and a growing business. So if you are looking out to grow in your practice, to grow in this beauty industry, never skip a consultation. Correct? I hope we will meet super soon again in the next video. If you have not subscribed and you have actually loved us till here, you are watching our video, then do subscribe and hit the notification bell icon. Bye-bye.